The rain fell as little Tommy crouched beneath the playground bench, trembling with fear. "They're coming for me," he whispered to the confused girl, offering him a flower. But neither of them could possibly imagine how their lives would intertwine, or the shocking truth that would change everything. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartbreaking stories that will touch your soul. Rain pelted the nearly empty playground as 7-year-old Lily clutched her small basket of wilting daisies. Another day, another dollar, or rather another handful of quarters if she was lucky. Her thin raincoat provided little protection against the autumn chill. Mom needed medicine, and flowers weren't selling well today. "Please, someone buy a flower," she whispered, scanning the park for potential customers. That's when she noticed something strange. A small boy was huddled under a picnic table, trembling. He wasn't dressed for the weather. Expensive sneakers, designer jeans, and a light sweater that probably cost more than all of Lily's clothes combined. "Are you okay?" Lily approached cautiously. The boy's head snapped up, terror filling his eyes. "Shh! They'll hear you. The men in black suits, they're after me." Lily glanced around the empty playground. "There's nobody here. They're hiding," he insisted, his voice quivering. "They work for her, my stepmother. She wants me gone so she can take everything." Lily should have walked away. Mom always warned her about strange situations, but something in the boy's frightened eyes tugged at her heart. "I'm Lily," she said, crouching beside him. "What's your name?" "Tommy," he whispered. "Tommy Reynolds." The name tickled something in Lily's memory. Reynolds. Where had she heard that before? "They're coming closer," Tommy suddenly gasped, pointing toward the swings. "Please help me." Lily saw nothing but rain and empty swings. The poor kid was clearly imagining things. Still, his fear seemed so real. "I'll help you," Lily decided, setting down her flower basket. "Let's play hide and seek from the bad men." Relief washed over Tommy's face. "You believe me?" Lily hesitated. "Sure I do. Come on, I know a better hiding place." And as they darted from the picnic table toward the large oak tree, Lily noticed a sleek black car slowly cruising past the park. Probably nothing, she told herself, just a coincidence. Behind the oak's massive trunk, Tommy caught his breath. "Thank you," he said. "Nobody ever believes me." "So," Lily ventured, "why are these men chasing you?" "Because I'm rich," Tommy stated matter-of-factly, "or I will be, when I turn 18. My dad died last month and he left everything to me." Lily nearly laughed. Kids and their imaginations. "How rich are we talking?" "Billions," Tommy whispered. "That's what my lawyer said before he disappeared." "Right," Lily nodded, playing along. "And your stepmother wants the money?" "She needs me to sign papers," Tommy explained earnestly. "She's been nice to me for years, but it was all fake. I heard her on the phone. She said, once the brat signs, we'll never have to see him again." A chill ran through Lily that had nothing to do with the rain. "I ran away this morning," Tommy continued. "The men have been following me ever since." Just then, Lily's phone, an ancient hand-me-down her mother insisted she carry, buzzed with a text. "Where are you? Medicine's wearing off. Come home soon." Reality came crashing back. Her mother needed her. She couldn't waste time with this kid's fantasy. "I have to go," Lily said, standing. "My mom's sick." Tommy grabbed her arm, desperation in his eyes. "Please don't leave me. I'll pay you. I can't give you money now, but when I'm 18... "Listen," Lily interrupted gently. "There are no men in black suits. You probably just misunderstood what your stepmother said." Tommy's face fell. "You don't believe me either." Guilt twisted in Lily's stomach. "I have to get these flowers sold. My mom needs medicine." Tommy glanced at her soggy basket. "How much for all of them?" Lily shrugged. $20, but nobody's buying today." Tommy reached into his pocket and pulled out a gold watch. "Will this work?" "My dad gave it to me." Lily's eyes widened. The watch was obviously worth thousands. "I can't take that. Please," Tommy begged. "I don't need it. I need a friend." Before Lily could respond, the black car she'd noticed earlier pulled up to the curb. An elegant woman in designer clothes stepped out, followed by two large men in dark suits. And suddenly, Tommy's imagination didn't seem so imaginary anymore. "Oh my God," Lily whispered, pulling Tommy deeper behind the oak tree. "There really are men in black suits." "I told you!" Tommy's voice trembled. "That's Victoria, my stepmother. She found me." Victoria Reynolds cut an imposing figure even from a distance, tall, slim, with perfect blonde hair untouched by the rain under her umbrella. Her crimson lips moved as she instructed the men, pointing toward the playground. "They're going to check the picnic table first," Tommy whispered. "That's where I was hiding." Lily's mind raced. She should just leave, run home to Mom. This wasn't her problem, but looking at Tommy's terrified face, she couldn't abandon him. "Give me your sweater," Lily commanded. "What? Why? Just do it." Tommy quickly pulled off his designer sweater, revealing a white t-shirt underneath. Lily removed her raincoat and they swapped. Then she mussed up his perfectly combed hair. "Put the hood up," she instructed, pulling her flower basket close. "Now you're just a poor kid selling flowers with me. Keep your head down." They emerged from behind the tree just as the men approached the picnic table. With a confidence she didn't feel, Lily walked right past Victoria Reynolds, pulling Tommy alongside her. "Flowers, Mom?" Lily asked brightly. "Only $5. Victoria barely glanced at them. "Not interested." Lily squeezed Tommy's trembling hand as they continued walking. They were almost to the park exit when— "Wait!" Victoria called after them. Lily's heart stopped. "Actually, I'll take one," Victoria said, approaching with an outstretched $20 bill. Her eyes, cold and calculating, swept over them. "Keep the change," she said, taking a wilting daisy. "Thank you, Ma'am," Lily managed, accepting the money. As Victoria turned away, her phone rang. "Any sign of him?" She snapped into it. "Well, keep looking. That little brat can't have gotten far." Once they were safely outside the park, Tommy let out a shaky breath. That was close. "No kidding," Lily agreed, her own heart still pounding. "She didn't even recognize you." "She only sees what she wants to see," Tommy said bitterly. "Poor kids are invisible to people like her." Lily checked her phone. 3 missed texts from Mom. "I really have to go home now." "Can I come with you?" Tommy asked, his eyes pleading. "Just for tonight? I have nowhere else to go." Lily bit her lip. Mom would be furious if she brought home a stranger. But she also wouldn't turn away a child in need. "Okay, but just for tonight. And you have to help me explain to my mom." "Deal," Tommy agreed, relief flooding his face. They walked in silence through the rain-slicked streets, away from the manicured neighborhood around the park and toward the rundown apartment complex Lily called home. The contrast couldn't have been more stark, from pristine sidewalks to cracked concrete, from luxury cars to abandoned shopping carts. "You live here?" Tommy asked, his eyes wide as they approached the graffiti-covered building. "Not all of us have billions waiting for us when we turn 18, Lily replied sarcastically. Tommy had the grace to look embarrassed. "Sorry." As they climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor, the elevator had been broken for months, Lily worried about what her mother would say. Diana Carter worked herself to exhaustion cleaning houses when she wasn't bedridden with pain. The last thing she needed was another mouth to feed. "Mom," Lily called, unlocking their apartment door. "I'm home." Diana Carter lay on the threadbare couch, her face pale against her dark hair. Despite her illness, she was still beautiful, like Lily might look in 20 years. "Lily, thank goodness," Diana started, then froze when she saw Tommy. "Who's this?" "This is Tommy," Lily explained. "He needs a place to stay tonight. He's lost." Diana struggled to sit up. "Lost? Where are your parents, young man?" Tommy stepped forward, clutching the watch he'd tried to give Lily earlier. My dad died last month. My stepmother. She's not a good person." Diana's eyes narrowed, then softened. "Are you in trouble, Tommy?" Tommy nodded, tears welling up. "She wants to steal my inheritance. She sent men to find me." "He's exaggerating," Lily interjected quickly, not wanting her mother to think they were harboring a serious runaway. "It's just a family disagreement." Diana studied Tommy for a long moment, then sighed. "You can stay tonight. Tomorrow we'll contact the proper authorities." "No!" Tommy exclaimed. "Please, no police or social services. Victoria has them all in her pocket." Diana and Lily exchanged looks. This was getting complicated. "We'll figure it out in the morning," Diana finally said. "Lily, get Tommy a blanket for the couch, then help me with dinner." And in the tiny kitchen, Diana whispered urgently, "Where did you find this boy?" "In the park," Lily explained, keeping her voice low. "Mom, I think he might really be in danger. There were men looking for him, just like he said." Diana peered through the doorway at Tommy, who sat examining their modest living room with curiosity rather than judgment. "What did you say his name was again?" "Tommy Reynolds." Diana froze. "Reynolds? As in Reynolds Enterprises?" "I don't know. Why?" Diana grabbed her phone and quickly searched something. She turned the screen to show Lily a news article. "Billionaire James Reynolds dies at 52, leaves empire to young son." Beneath the headline was a family photo. James Reynolds stood tall and distinguished, his arm around a beautiful blonde woman, Victoria, and his hand on the shoulder of a small boy with perfectly combed hair. Tommy. "Oh my God," Lily whispered. "He was telling the truth." Diana's hands trembled as she set down the phone. "Lily, do you have any idea what you've gotten us into?" Before Lily could respond, Diana continued, "The Reynolds family isn't just rich, they're powerful, if his stepmother is really after him." "We have to help him," Lily insisted. "It's not that simple," Diana sighed, massaging her temple where a migraine was surely forming. "We could be accused of kidnapping." In the living room, Tommy had discovered their ancient television and was flipping through channels. He stopped suddenly, his face paling. There he was. His school photo displayed prominently as a news anchor spoke. 7-year-old Thomas Reynolds, heir to the Reynolds fortune, missing since this morning. His stepmother, Victoria Reynolds, is distraught. The camera cut to Victoria, dabbing at non-existent tears with a silk handkerchief. "I just want my little boy home safe," she sobbed. "Tommy, if you're watching this, please come home. You're all I have left of your father." "Liar!" Tommy shouted at the screen. Diana quickly shut off the TV. "They're portraying her as a worried mother." "She's an actress," Tommy said bitterly. "She never cared about me or Dad. She just wanted his money." Diana sat beside Tommy, her nurse's instincts kicking in despite her illness. "Tommy, honey, this is serious. The police will be looking for you." "I know a place," Tommy said suddenly. "My dad's old lawyer, Mr. Goldstein. He always said if I needed help and couldn't reach him, I should go to his daughter. She works at a bakery downtown." Diana and Lily exchanged looks. "And you think this daughter will help you?" Tommy nodded vigorously. "Dad trusted Mr. Goldstein more than anyone. He said the Goldsteins have been Reynolds family lawyers for 3 generations. What happened to Mr. Goldstein?" Lily asked, sensing there was more to the story. Tommy's eyes darkened. After Dad died, he started asking questions about the will. Then his office caught fire with all Dad's papers inside. The next day, Victoria said he'd resigned and moved to Europe. "But you don't believe that," Diana stated, rather than asked. "He would never leave without saying goodbye," Tommy insisted. "And he'd never leave his daughter. She's all he has since his wife died." Diana was quiet for a long moment, weighing options. Finally she asked, "What's the name of this bakery?" "Sweet Justice Bakery," Tommy replied immediately. "Dad took me there once. They make amazing cookies." Despite everything, Lily laughed. "Sweet Justice? Seriously?" Oh, Mr. Goldstein said his daughter had a weird sense of humor, Tommy shrugged. Diana stood up, decision made. We'll go tomorrow. For tonight, you're safe here. After a simple dinner of boxed mac and cheese, which Tommy devoured as if it were gourmet cuisine, they prepared for bed. Diana insisted on giving Tommy her room, despite his protests, saying the couch would hurt her back less than his growing bones. As Lily helped Tommy settle in, he grabbed her hand. "Thank you," he whispered. "You're the first person who helped me without wanting something." "Don't thank me yet," Lily replied. "We're still in big trouble." Tommy smiled, his first genuine smile since they'd met. "I'm good at trouble." When Lily returned to the living room, she found her mother on the phone, speaking in hushed tones. "I know, Sarah, but I need the shift covered. Yes, it's an emergency. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important." After hanging up, Diana noticed Lily watching. "I got tomorrow off," she explained. "My body needed the rest anyway." "Are we really going to this bakery?" Lily asked. "We're going to help him," Diana confirmed. "But we're also going to be smart about it. This isn't a game, Lily. If what Tommy says is true, these people are dangerous." "I know," Lily whispered. "I saw them, Mom. They looked scary." Diana hugged her daughter tightly. "You did a brave thing helping that boy. I just hope it doesn't cost us everything." That night, Lily couldn't sleep. Her mind kept replaying the day's events. Tommy hiding under the table, Victoria's cold eyes, the news report painting a completely different picture than reality. How could someone just lie like that on TV? Around midnight, a noise from her mother's room caught her attention. Quietly, Lily crept to the door and peeked inside. Tommy stood by the window, staring out at the city lights. "Can't sleep," Lily whispered. Tommy startled slightly, but relaxed when he saw her. "I keep thinking about Dad." "You must miss him a lot," Lily said, entering the room. "He was always busy," Tommy admitted, "but when he was home he really saw me, you know? Victoria only sees what I'm worth." "That sounds lonely." Tommy nodded. "What about your dad?" "Left before I was born," Lily shrugged. "It's always been just Mom and me." They stood in comfortable silence, two children with very different lives, yet similarly adrift. "Lily?" Tommy finally whispered. "If we find Mr. Goldstein's daughter, do you think she can really help?" Lily wanted to offer reassurance, but found herself unwilling to lie. "I don't know, but we have to try." And then, what neither child noticed was Diana, awake on the couch, staring at her phone with growing horror. The local news website displayed a new headline: "Reward offered for information on missing Reynolds heir." The amount made her gasp, $100,000 for information leading to Tommy's return. In a city where most people struggled to make rent, that kind of money would turn anyone into a potential threat. And somewhere out there, men in black suits were searching, getting closer by the hour. Dawn broke with an unexpected banging on the apartment door. Diana jolted awake on the couch, heart pounding. Lily emerged from her room, eyes wide with fear. The knocking continued, insistent and loud. "Police! Open up!" Diana motioned for Lily to check on Tommy while she approached the door. Composing herself, she opened it just enough to see a uniformed officer and a plainclothes detective. "Can I help you?" Diana asked, trying to keep her voice steady. The detective held up a badge. "Detective Martinez, ma'am. We're conducting a neighborhood canvass regarding a missing child. May we come in?" "I'm not dressed for company," Diana lied smoothly. "Can I help you from here?" Martinez studied her face. "We're looking for this boy." He held up a photo of Tommy in expensive clothes, looking polished and privileged. "His name is Thomas Reynolds. Have you seen him?" Diana feigned studying the photo. "No, sorry. I've been working double shifts at the hospital. Haven't been out much." "You're a nurse?" Martinez asked. "Medical assistant," Diana corrected. "Trying to put myself through nursing school." The officer behind Martinez was peering past Diana, trying to see into the apartment. Diana shifted, blocking his view. Do you have children, Ms. Carter? Diana Carter. Just my daughter. Is she home? Kids sometimes notice things adults miss. Before Diana could answer, Lily appeared beside her. Mom, what's going on? Diana silently cursed. These officers are looking for a missing boy, honey. Martinez crouched to Lily's level, showing her Tommy's photo. Have you seen this boy? Maybe at school or in the neighborhood? Lily examined the picture, then shook her head. No, sir, I don't think so. Diana marveled at her daughter's composed lie. What about yesterday? Were you at Franklin Park around 4 p.m.? Martinez pressed. Diana felt ice in her veins. How did they know? I was selling flowers, Lily admitted. In the rain. Nobody was buying much. Did you see this boy there? It's very important. Lily hesitated, just a fraction too long. There were some kids playing, but I was focusing on selling. Mom needs medicine. Martinez's eyes narrowed slightly. He stood, handing Diana his card. If you remember anything, call immediately. The boy's stepmother is offering a substantial reward. We'll keep an eye out, Diana promised. As they turned to leave, Martinez added, By the way, the building manager mentioned you might have had a visitor last night. Diana's stomach dropped. Mrs. Kowalski from 2B, always watching, always gossiping. Just my niece, Diana lied. She's staying with us while her parents are out of town. Martinez nodded, clearly unconvinced, but left without further questions. Diana closed the door, leaning against it as her legs threatened to give way. They know, she whispered. They know he's here. In Diana's bedroom, Tommy had hidden himself in the closet, trembling. Are they gone? He whispered when Lily entered. For now, Lily confirmed, helping him out. But they'll be back. We need to move faster, Diana declared, entering the room. Get dressed, both of you. We're leaving in 10 minutes. What about breakfast? Lily asked. We'll grab something on the way, Diana said, already pulling clothes from her dresser. The bakery opens at 7. We need to be there when it does. Tommy looked stricken. I'm sorry I'm causing so much trouble. Diana softened, kneeling to meet his eyes. This isn't your fault, Tommy. None of it is. 20 minutes later, they slipped out the back entrance of the building, where no security cameras monitored. Diana had dressed Tommy in Lily's clothes, jeans, a pink sweater, and a baseball cap over his distinctive hair. I look like a girl, Tommy complained. That's the idea, Diana replied. Victoria's men are looking for a boy. They took a circuitous route downtown, using public transportation and doubling back twice to ensure they weren't followed. Diana kept scanning faces, jumping at every police siren. Sweet Justice Bakery was tucked between a laundromat and a pawn shop on a side street downtown. Its cheerful blue awning and window display of elaborate cakes seemed out of place among the surrounding urban decay. This is it, Tommy confirmed as they approached. Through the window, they could see a young woman with curly red hair arranging pastries in a display case. A bell jingled as they entered, and the redhead looked up with a professional smile. Welcome to Sweet Justice. How can I? She froze, her eyes locking on Tommy despite his disguise. Rachel, Tommy ventured. Rachel Goldstein. The woman's smile vanished. She quickly flipped the sign on the door to closed and locked it. How do you know my name? She demanded, though her eyes suggested she already knew. I'm Tommy Reynolds. Your dad was my dad's lawyer. Rachel's face went through a series of expressions, shock, recognition, and finally, caution. Prove it, she said flatly. Tommy thought for a moment, then said, Your dad keeps a jar of jelly beans on his desk. He told me I could have 3 every time I visited, but you always snuck me extras when he wasn't looking. Rachel's professional demeanor cracked. Tommy, she whispered, oh my God, everyone's looking for you. I know, Tommy replied, but they're not looking to help me. Rachel turned to Diana and Lily. And you are? I found him hiding in the park, Lily explained. He was scared. Men were chasing him. We need to talk to your father, Diana added. Tommy says he might be in danger. Rachel's expression darkened. You can't talk to my father. Nobody can. He disappeared 3 weeks ago. What do you mean, disappeared? Diana asked. I mean he went to meet a client and never came back, Rachel replied, her voice tight with controlled emotion. His car was found at the airport with a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires in the glove compartment. But he would never... She broke off, composing herself. He would never leave without saying goodbye. That's what I told them, Tommy exclaimed. Mr. Goldstein wouldn't just leave. Rachel led them to a back room filled with baking supplies and a small desk covered in papers. The police say he embezzled from clients and fled the country. I've been trying to clear his name, but what? Diana prompted. But someone's made it very difficult, Rachel finished. Files missing, evidence tampering, witnesses suddenly changing their stories. She looked directly at Tommy. The last client my father saw was your father, Tommy, the day before he died. Tommy's eyes widened. Dad wasn't sick, he said quietly. Victoria said he had a heart condition, but he was fine. Then one day he just didn't wake up. The adults exchanged significant looks over the children's heads. Did your father leave anything? Diana asked Rachel. Any message or contingency plan? Rachel hesitated, then reached into her pocket and pulled out a key. Just this. He gave it to me the day he disappeared, said if anything happened to him, I should only use it if the heir comes asking. Tommy stepped forward. That's me. I'm the heir. Rachel nodded grimly. I know. But what I don't know is what this key opens, or why my father thought it was worth risking his life for. Lily, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. I think we're being watched. All heads turned to follow her gaze through the small window in the back room. Across the street, a black sedan had parked. 2 men in suits sat inside, watching the bakery. Victoria's men, Tommy whispered. They found us. Rachel's training as a lawyer's daughter kicked in immediately. There's a delivery entrance through the kitchen, she said, already in motion. My car's parked in the alley. They'll follow us, Diana warned. Not if they don't see us leave, Rachel replied, grabbing a phone. She dialed quickly. Marco, I need a favor. Those special deliveries we discussed. Now would be good. Yes, all 3 variations. Thanks, I owe you. She hung up and began gathering items. A backpack, a laptop, and the mysterious key, which she slipped into her jeans pocket. What was that about? Diana asked. A distraction, Rachel explained, handing Tommy a different hat. Marco runs the coffee shop 3 doors down. In about 2 minutes, 3 people who look vaguely like us will exit his shop and head in different directions. Decoys, Diana nodded appreciatively. Dad's paranoia rubbed off. Rachel shrugged. Now we need to move quickly. As they slipped through the kitchen, Lily asked, Where are we going? Somewhere safe, Rachel replied. My grandmother's cabin upstate. It's remote, off the grid. No one knows about it except family. Will this key thing be there? Tommy asked. No, Rachel admitted. I still don't know what it opens. But we need time to figure it out without looking over our shoulders. They reached Rachel's car, a sensible blue Honda with tinted windows. As they piled in, shouts erupted from the street. Their distraction had worked. Victoria's men were racing after the decoys. Buckle up, Rachel ordered, starting the engine, and stay down. As they pulled away, Tommy suddenly cried out, Wait, we forgot something important. What? Rachel asked, alarmed but not stopping. Cookies, Tommy said seriously. You can't leave Sweet Justice without cookies. Despite everything, they all laughed, a release of tension that felt almost miraculous in the moment. Rachel reached into her bag and pulled out a paper sack. Way ahead of you, kid. I packed chocolate chip and snickerdoodle. The drive north was tense, but uneventful. They took back roads and switched highways twice to throw off any potential pursuit. Diana made several calls on Rachel's phone to arrange for her medication to be picked up by a trusted co-worker. Lily and Tommy dozed in the back seat, exhausted from the ordeal. Around noon, they stopped at a small diner in a town whose name no one bothered to note. As they slid into a booth, Diana finally asked the question that had been bothering her. "Rachel, why are you helping us? You're risking a lot." Rachel stirred her coffee thoughtfully. "My father was the most honest man I've ever known. If he believed James Reynolds was murdered and his son was in danger, that's good enough for me." "Did he say that?" Diana pressed. "Specifically?" "Not in so many words," Rachel admitted, "but the night before he disappeared, he said something that's been haunting me. He said, 'Sometimes justice needs a little sweetening to go down.'" "Hence the bakery name," Lily commented, mouth full of pancakes. Rachel nodded. "It was his idea. He helped me buy the place after law school didn't work out for me." "You're not a lawyer?" Diana asked. "Anxiety disorder," Rachel explained with a self-deprecating smile. "Panic attacks in court don't inspire client confidence. Baking is more my speed." "So what's the plan?" Diana asked, mindful of the children listening but needing to understand what they were walking into. Rachel lowered her voice. "My grandmother's cabin has a hidden safe. Dad and I used to joke it was for her secret cookie recipes. But now I'm wondering if there's more to it. Maybe the key." "Even if we find whatever the key opens," Diana pointed out, "what then? Tommy can't hide forever." "No," Rachel agreed. "But maybe we can find enough evidence to prove Victoria's involvement in James's death and my father's disappearance." "That's a lot to prove," Diana cautioned. "I know," Rachel sighed, "but it's all we've got." Tommy, who had been silently working on a chocolate milkshake, suddenly said, "There's something else." All eyes turned to him. "The night before Dad died, I heard him arguing with Victoria. He said he was changing his will the next day." "Changing it how?" Rachel asked sharply. "I don't know," Tommy shrugged, "but she was really mad. She said he couldn't do that to her after all she'd done." Rachel and Diana exchanged meaningful glances. "Did your father ever mention any changes to you?" Rachel asked Tommy. Tommy thought hard. He said he was fixing a mistake, that's all." As they finished their meal, Lily noticed a TV mounted in the corner showing a news broadcast. She nudged Tommy and pointed. There on screen was Tommy's school photo again, but now alongside it was a grainy image from what appeared to be security camera footage. Diana, Lily, and a disguised Tommy entering Sweet Justice Bakery. "Guys," Lily whispered urgently, "we've got a problem." All heads turned to the TV. The news banner read, "Breaking, missing billionaire, heir spotted with suspected kidnappers." Beneath their photo was a toll-free number for tips and the reward amount, now increased to $250,000. "Time to go," Rachel said, throwing cash on the table. They hurried to the car, but as they pulled out of the parking lot, Diana noticed a waitress watching them intently through the window, phone in hand. "She recognized us," Diana said grimly. "We need to ditch this car." "There's a bus station in the next town," Rachel replied, accelerating. "My grandmother kept an old truck at the cabin." "If we can get there." "What about the police?" Lily asked, fear evident in her voice. "They think we kidnapped Tommy." "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it," Diana said, though her own worry was mounting. "For now, we focus on getting somewhere safe." As they drove, Rachel suddenly laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. "What's funny?" Diana asked. "I just realized," Rachel replied. "I always wanted to be in a courtroom drama. Be careful what you wish for, right?" None of them noticed the drone hovering high above the highway, its camera fixed on their vehicle, broadcasting their location to someone with very deep pockets and very bad intentions. They abandoned Rachel's car at a mall parking lot and boarded a northbound bus, purchasing tickets with cash. Tommy was now disguised in Lily's spare clothes with his hair tucked under a pink beanie, looking convincingly like a little girl. Diana had twisted her hair up and donned Rachel's oversized sunglasses, while Rachel wore Lily's raincoat with the hood up. "Everyone thinks we're kidnappers," Lily whispered as they settled into their seats. "Welcome to trial by media," Rachel replied bitterly. "Guilty until proven innocent, especially when someone with money is controlling the narrative." The bus rumbled along country roads, stopping occasionally at small towns. At each stop, Diana tensely watched passengers board, expecting police or Victoria's men to appear. By late afternoon, they reached the end of the line, a town called Pine Ridge, population 2,347, according to the weathered welcome sign. "We'll need to walk from here," Rachel said, shouldering her backpack. "It's about 3 miles to Grandma's cabin." The hike through dense forest would have been pleasant under different circumstances. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot, and the air smelled of pine and earth, but every snapping twig made them jump, and the lengthening shadows seemed to harbor threats. "Are we almost there?" Tommy asked, his energy flagging after the emotional and physical toll of the day. "Just over that ridge," Rachel promised. The cabin appeared suddenly, a small, rustic structure nestled among towering pines. It looked abandoned, with darkened windows and a porch sagging slightly on one side. "Home, sweet home," Rachel announced, retrieving a key from beneath a stone frog statue. "It's not much, but it's safe." Inside, the cabin smelled of dust and forgotten summers. Rachel busied herself starting a fire in the stone hearth, while Diana checked the kitchen for supplies. "Your grandmother was quite the prepper," Diana observed, finding shelves of canned goods. "She lived through the Depression," Rachel explained. "Never trusted banks or grocery stores after that." Lily helped Tommy settle on the worn but comfortable sofa. Despite his wealth, he seemed content with these humble surroundings, perhaps because for the first time in weeks he felt secure. "What happens now?" Tommy asked as darkness fell outside. The adults exchanged glances. "We need to figure out what your dad's key opens," Rachel finally said, "and we need proof of what Victoria did." "But how?" Lily asked. "We can't exactly walk into a police station." "No," Rachel agreed, "but I have an idea. My father kept backup files of everything. Not in his office, somewhere else." "The safe your grandmother has?" Diana suggested. Rachel nodded. "Maybe. Let's check." She moved to a landscape painting on the wall, a mediocre rendition of the very forest surrounding them. Behind it was a small safe. "The combination is Grandma's birthday," Rachel murmured, spinning the dial. 071642. The safe opened with a satisfying click. Inside were documents, an old revolver, and a manila envelope labeled Reynolds in bold black marker. "Jackpot," Rachel whispered, pulling out the envelope. The documents inside detailed James Reynolds' original will, financial records, and most importantly, a letter written by Rachel's father dated the day before his disappearance. "If you're reading this," Rachel read aloud, "then what I feared has happened. James Reynolds did not die of natural causes. The night before his death, he contacted me to make changes to his will, changes that would have removed control of his company from Victoria in the event of his death until Tommy reached majority age." Tommy's eyes widened. "Dad knew she was bad." "There's more," Rachel continued. "James discovered financial irregularities, money being funneled to offshore accounts tied to Victoria's maiden name. He was planning to confront her, but needed proof first. And then he conveniently died," Diana concluded grimly. "My father writes that he secured evidence in a safety deposit box at First National Bank, downtown branch, box 1337. The key," Tommy realized. Rachel nodded. "But we can't just walk into a bank. They're looking for us everywhere." "Actually," Diana said slowly, "that might work to our advantage." "How?" Lily asked. Diana's eyes gleamed with determination. They're expecting us to hide, so we do the opposite. We go public. Public? Rachel looked horrified. We're wanted for kidnapping. Exactly, Diana nodded, which means hiding isn't working. But what if we controlled the narrative instead? Everyone stared at her, confused. The media loves a good story, Diana explained. Right now they're telling Victoria's version, but what if we told ours, with proof? Rachel considered this. You're suggesting we contact the press? A specific journalist, Diana clarified, pulling out her phone. Sarah Chen from the Chronicle. She covered the whistleblower case at County General last year when I worked there. She protects her sources. But we'd still be fugitives, Rachel pointed out. Not if we time it right, Diana countered. We get the evidence from the safety deposit box, arrange a meeting with Sarah, and go public all at once before Victoria can spin it. Tommy, who had been listening intently, suddenly asked, "Can I help?" The adults paused, having almost forgotten the children in their planning. Actually, Diana said thoughtfully, you might be the key to everything, Tommy. The next morning dawned clear and cold. They gathered around the small kitchen table, finalizing their plan over a breakfast of canned peaches and stale crackers. I'll go to the bank, Rachel decided. I still have my legal ID, and I'm the least recognizable. Victoria's men will be watching banks, Diana warned. Not the smaller branches outside the city, Rachel replied. And not for someone withdrawing money from their own account, which is what I'll pretend to do first. They spent the morning transforming Rachel. Lily, who had surprising skill with makeup, used Diana's cosmetics to change Rachel's appearance, contouring her face to appear thinner, darkening her eyebrows, adding subtle age lines. Where did you learn to do this? Diana asked, impressed. YouTube tutorials when you were working nights, Lily admitted. I got bored. By noon, Rachel looked 10 years older and completely different from her bakery photo that had been circulating on news broadcasts. If this law thing doesn't work out, you have a future in disguise, Tommy joked, his first attempt at humor since they'd met. Rachel tugged at her ill-fitting clothes, borrowed from Diana to complete the transformation. I feel ridiculous. You look unrecognizable, Diana assured her. Now remember, get in, access the box, document everything inside, and get out. Don't try to remove anything. Photos and video, Rachel nodded, patting the prepaid phone they'd purchased at a gas station. Then straight back here. After Rachel left, driving the old truck they'd found in the cabin's shed, an uncomfortable silence fell. They were putting all their hopes on whatever might be in that safety deposit box. What if there's nothing there? Lily finally voiced what everyone was thinking. There will be, Tommy said with surprising confidence. Dad always had a backup plan. Hours crawled by with excruciating slowness. Diana paced. Lily taught Tommy how to play gin rummy with a dusty deck of cards found in a drawer. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the windows like impatient fingers. Finally, as dusk approached, they heard the rumble of the truck returning. Rachel burst through the door, face flushed with excitement. I got it, she announced, brandishing the phone. Everything we need. They huddled around as she pulled up photos. Financial records showing millions diverted to offshore accounts, medical reports suggesting James Reynolds had been poisoned with an untraceable toxin, and most damning of all, emails between Victoria and an unknown accomplice discussing the removal of obstacles, both James and Tommy. This is enough for the police, Diana breathed. More than enough, Rachel agreed. I've already contacted Sarah Chen. She's meeting us tomorrow morning. For the first time since this began, they allowed themselves to feel hope. They celebrated with a dinner of canned soup and crackers, which Tommy declared the best meal ever. As they prepared for bed, Diana pulled Rachel aside. There's something bothering me about this. It's almost too perfect. Rachel nodded. I thought that too. Why would Victoria leave evidence? She wouldn't, Diana said grimly. Which means... A sharp crack echoed through the cabin, the unmistakable sound of breaking glass. Down! Diana shouted, pulling Lily to the floor as another window shattered. Victoria had found them. Smoke billowed through the broken windows, not from fire, but smoke grenades designed to flush them out. The back door, Rachel coughed, crawling toward the kitchen. There's a path to the lake. Tommy froze in terror until Lily grabbed his hand. Come on! They stumbled through the thickening smoke toward the rear of the cabin. Diana snatched the phone with the evidence and Rachel's backpack as they fled. The night air felt shockingly cold after the stuffiness inside. Behind them, flashlight beams cut through the smoke as Victoria's men entered the cabin. This way, Rachel whispered, leading them down a barely visible trail through the trees. Stay quiet. They moved as quickly as they dared in the darkness, branches scratching their faces, roots threatening to trip them with every step. Behind them, angry voices carried on the wind. They can't have gotten far. Find them. The trail ended at a small dock extending into a black mirror of a lake. A weathered rowboat was tied to the pier, gently bobbing in the water. In, Rachel urged, already untying the rope. Hurry! They climbed aboard, the boat rocking precariously under their combined weight. Rachel and Diana took the oars, pulling with desperate strength toward the center of the lake. Where are we going? Lily whispered. There's an island, Rachel explained between breaths. Small fishing cabin there, Grandpa's special place. Tommy, huddled against Lily for warmth, suddenly pointed back toward shore. They have a boat too. A spotlight swept across the water, illuminating their position. The mechanical whine of an outboard motor shattered the night's stillness. Row harder, Diana urged, her muscles burning with the effort. But it was futile. The motorboat would overtake them in minutes. Rachel suddenly stopped rowing. What are you doing? Diana demanded. Trust me, Rachel said, reaching into her backpack. She pulled out a flare gun, the kind boaters keep for emergencies. When I fire this, Rachel instructed, everyone dive into the water and swim for the island. It's only about 50 yards from here. The water will be freezing, Diana protested, thinking of Lily. Better cold than captured, Rachel replied grimly. The motorboat's spotlight found them again, temporarily blinding them. Rachel aimed the flare gun high into the air and fired. The bright red streaker arced across the night sky, drawing all eyes upward. Now! Rachel hissed, already sliding into the black water. They followed, gasping at the shocking cold. Lily helped Tommy, who admitted between chattering teeth that he'd never learned to swim properly. They moved quietly, using a basic side stroke to stay just below the surface. Behind them, confused shouts erupted from the motorboat as Victoria's men found the empty rowboat drifting aimlessly. The island loomed ahead, a dark mass against the starlit sky. Their waterlogged clothes weighed them down, making the short swim feel like miles. Diana reached the rocky shore first, turning to help Lily and Tommy scramble up the slippery stones. "Rachel!" Diana called softly, scanning the water. No answer. "Rachel!" Lily called again, louder this time. The spotlight from the motorboat swept across the water, revealing nothing but ripples. Rachel was gone. She must have swum to another part of the island, Diana reasoned, though her voice betrayed her uncertainty. "Come on, we need to find the cabin before we freeze." Erdul. They stumbled through the underbrush, guided only by starlight filtering through the trees. Tommy tripped on a root and fell hard, crying out in pain. "Shh," Diana warned, helping him up. "Are you hurt?" "My ankle," he whimpered. "I think it's twisted." Diana knelt to examine it, fingers gently probing the rapidly swelling joint. "Can you put weight on it?" Tommy tried and winced. "A little." "I'll carry you," Lily offered, though she was shivering violently herself. "No need," came a voice from the darkness. "I've got him." They froze as a beam of light illuminated them. But instead of Victoria's men, Rachel emerged from between the trees, a lantern in one hand. "You made it," Lily exclaimed. "Took a different route to throw them off," Rachel explained, scooping Tommy into her arms. "The cabin's just ahead." The cabin turned out to be little more than a glorified shed, a single room with a rustic stone fireplace, rough-hewn furniture, and fishing gear hanging from the walls, but it was shelter. Rachel quickly built a fire, while Diana wrapped the children in musty but dry blankets found in a cedar chest. "What now?" Lily asked, huddled beside Tommy near the growing warmth of the flames. "They know where we are." "They know we're on the island," Rachel corrected, "but there are a dozen small cabins here. It'll take them time to search each one." "Time for what?" Diana asked. "We're trapped." "Not quite," Rachel grinned, pulling out the prepaid phone from a waterproof pouch. "We still have this, and surprisingly, 1 bar of service." She dialed Sarah Chen's number, putting the phone on speaker. "Sarah Chen," answered a crisp, professional voice. "Ms. Chen, this is Rachel Goldstein. I believe we had an appointment for tomorrow, but circumstances have forced us to accelerate our timeline." "Ms. Goldstein, I was beginning to think you'd changed your mind." "Quite the opposite. We're in immediate danger and need extraction. I'm sending evidence now." Rachel quickly attached the photos and documents to a text message. "Received," Sarah confirmed moments later. Her voice changed, becoming more urgent. "This is explosive. Where are you?" Rachel hesitated, looking at the others. "Can we trust her?" Diana mouthed silently. Rachel covered the phone. "We don't have a choice." Rachel gave Sarah their location, emphasizing the danger they were in. "Victoria Reynolds' men are on the island. They've already tried to smoke us out of one cabin." "I'm about 3 hours away," Sarah replied, "but I can have a contact at the local sheriff's office there sooner." "No police," Rachel insisted. "We don't know who's in Victoria's pocket. My contact isn't official. He's a retired deputy who owes me a favor. He can get you off that island without attracting attention. How will we recognize him? He'll be in a green fishing boat. 3 short horn blasts followed by 2 long ones. That's your signal." "And then what?" "Then I meet you at the location, we'll text you, get your full story, and we go live with it tomorrow morning. Once it's public, Victoria can't touch you without confirming everything." After hanging up, they huddled around the fire, taking turns drying their clothes and keeping watch through the single grimy window. Outside, flashlight beams periodically swept through the trees as Victoria's men methodically searched the island. "How long until Sarah's friend gets here?" Lily asked, rubbing her arms for warmth. "At least an hour," Diana replied, checking the phone. "We just need to stay hidden until then." Tommy, his ankle properly wrapped with strips torn from a relatively clean dish towel, had been unusually quiet since their swim. Now he looked up with solemn eyes. "I'm sorry I got you all into this," he said. "If you had just left me in the park, then you'd be signing away your inheritance right now. Or worse," Lily interrupted. "We're not sorry." "Lily's right," Diana agreed, putting an arm around him. "Sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy, but that doesn't make it wrong." Rachel, who'd been peering out the window, suddenly ducked down. "Flashlights! Coming this way." They extinguished the lantern and damped down the fire, plunging the cabin into near darkness. Through the window, they could see 2 men approaching, systematically checking the surrounding area with powerful flashlights. "Back door?" Diana whispered. "There isn't one," Rachel replied grimly. "Just the front and a window over the sink." The footsteps grew closer. A beam of light played across the cabin's front wall. "The window," Diana decided. "Lily, you and Tommy go first." The small window above the rustic sink was just big enough for the children to squeeze through. Diana boosted Lily up first, who wriggled through with surprising agility and dropped to the ground outside. Tommy's injured ankle complicated matters, but with Rachel's help, Diana managed to pass him through to Lily's waiting arms. "Your turn," Diana told Rachel. What about you? I'll follow. Go. Rachel hesitated, then nodded, clambering onto the sink and squeezing her slim frame through the opening. Diana was preparing to follow when the cabin door burst open. She froze, half on the sink, as a flashlight beam found her. "Don't move!" commanded a harsh voice. Outside, Rachel pulled the children behind a stack of firewood, motioning for silence. Through the window they could see Diana slowly raising her hands. "Where are the others?" demanded one of the men, a tall figure whose face remained in shadow. "Gone," Diana answered steadily. "I sent them ahead in a boat hours ago." "You're lying," the man snarled, grabbing her arm roughly. "Where's the boy?" "Safe from you," Diana replied, her voice dripping with contempt. The second man spoke into a radio. "We've got one of them." "The mother?" A woman's voice crackled over the radio, cold and precise. "Victoria. Bring her to the main cabin and keep searching for the others, especially the boy. He must be found unharmed." "What about these two?" the man asked, gesturing at Diana. A pause. "Do whatever is necessary to get information, but don't leave evidence." Diana's face remained defiant, but Rachel could see fear in her eyes as the men led her away at gunpoint. "We have to help her," Lily whispered, tears streaming down her face. "We will," Rachel promised, checking the phone. "But we need to get to the rendezvous point. Sarah's friend should be here soon. We can't leave my mom." "We're not leaving her," Rachel insisted, "but getting captured won't help her. We need backup." They made their way cautiously through the woods toward the far side of the island, away from the searchers. Tommy struggled with his ankle, but refused to complain, motivated by determination to help save Diana. After 20 agonizing minutes, they reached a small rocky beach on the island's northern shore. Rachel checked the phone again. "He should be here any minute," she whispered. As if on cue, they heard the distinctive pattern of horn blasts, 3 short, 2 long, from somewhere on the water. A small green fishing boat materialized from the darkness, gliding silently toward shore with its running lights dimmed. "That's our ride," Rachel breathed. "Let's go." They waded into the cold water to meet the boat. The man at the helm was elderly but strong-looking, with a weathered face and alert eyes. He helped them aboard without a word. "Sarah Chen sent you?" Rachel confirmed. The man nodded. "Name's Frank. Where's the 4th one you mentioned?" "They've got her," Lily said, her voice breaking. "Victoria's men took my mom." Frank's expression darkened. "Where?" "The main cabin," Rachel explained, "on the east side of the island." Frank considered this, then made a decision. "Change of plans. We're making a stop before the rendezvous." "What are you going to do?" Tommy asked. Frank reached under his seat and pulled out a shotgun. "What I should have done 40 years ago, stand up to bullies." The main cabin stood illuminated against the night, its windows glowing with warm light that belied the darkness inside. Frank's boat approached silently, its motor off, gliding toward a small dock away from the front of the cabin. "They have at least 4 men plus Victoria," Rachel whispered, peering through compact binoculars borrowed from Frank. 5, Frank corrected. "There's 1 patrolling the perimeter." He handed Lily and Tommy life jackets. "You two stay on the boat, engine running, ready to take off if anything goes wrong. You know how to operate a throttle." Lily nodded solemnly. "Good girl, Rachel and I will get your mother." "I'm coming too," Tommy insisted, his young face set with determination. "This is all because of me." "Tommy, you're injured," Rachel began. "And it's too dangerous," Frank added. "I have an idea," Tommy persisted. "Victoria wants me, right? So use me as bait." The adults exchanged glances. "Absolutely not," Rachel declared. "Wait," Frank said thoughtfully. "The kid might be onto something." 20 minutes later, Tommy stood at the edge of the clearing before the main cabin, illuminated by its exterior lights. Frank had wrapped his ankle properly, allowing him to stand without obvious pain. "Victoria!" Tommy called out, his voice surprisingly strong. "I know you have Lily's mom. I'm here to make a trade." The cabin door flew open. Victoria emerged, elegant even in crisis, wearing an expensive coat over silk pajamas. Behind her, 2 men held Diana between them. "Tommy," Victoria cooed, her voice honey-sweet. "I've been so worried about you." "Let Diana go," Tommy demanded, "and I'll come with you." Victoria smiled, a predator's smile. "Of course, darling. We just want you safe." As she stepped forward, Tommy backed up slightly. "First, Diana." Victoria nodded to her men, who released Diana's arms but kept guns trained on her. "Walk toward Tommy," Victoria instructed her. Slowly. Diana moved forward cautiously, her eyes locked on Tommy. "Don't do this," she whispered as she passed him. "It's okay," Tommy assured her. "Just keep walking to the boat. Lily's waiting." As Diana continued toward the dock, Tommy stepped forward. "Now, it's my turn." "Yes," Victoria agreed, extending her hand. "Come here, Tommy. It's time to go home." Tommy took another step, then stopped. "First, tell me why." Victoria's smile faltered slightly. "Why what, dear? Why did you kill my dad?" The facade cracked momentarily. "What a terrible accusation. Your father had a heart condition." "No, he didn't," Tommy replied, his voice steady. "He was changing his will. He knew what you were doing with his money." Victoria's smile disappeared entirely, replaced by cold calculation. "You're confused, Tommy. You've been through a traumatic experience." "I heard you," Tommy continued, taking another small step back. "The night before he died. You said you'd take care of it." Victoria's patience evaporated. "Enough games. Grab him," she ordered her men. As they moved forward, Tommy turned and ran, not toward the dock but to the side of the clearing where shadows concealed Frank with his shotgun. 2 loud blasts rang out, hitting the ground before Victoria's men, stopping them in their tracks. "Next shots won't miss," Frank called out, emerging from the trees. "Weapons down." "Be—" The men hesitated, looking to Victoria for direction. "Do it, you fools," she hissed. "He's one old man." "One old man with documentation of everything," came Sarah Chen's voice as she stepped into the clearing, holding up her phone. "Including this entire conversation, live streaming to my 500,000 followers right now." Victoria froze, her face contorting with rage. "You're bluffing." Sarah smiled. "Check your social media. Victoria Reynolds' court is already trending." While everyone's attention was on Sarah, Rachel had circled behind Victoria's men. Now she appeared, the flare gun aimed directly at Victoria. "This is for my father," she said, her voice tight with emotion. "Wait!" Diana cried, having reversed course when the shotgun blasts rang out. "Don't do it, Rachel. She's not worth throwing your life away." Rachel's hand trembled, then steadied. "You're right." She lowered the gun. "She'll face justice the right way." In the distance, sirens wailed, local police responding to reports of gunfire. Victoria's men, seeing the game was lost, dropped their weapons. Victoria herself lunged suddenly toward Tommy, a last desperate attempt to salvage something from the collapse of her schemes. "You ungrateful little—" She never finished the sentence. Diana's fist connected squarely with Victoria's jaw, dropping her to the ground unconscious. "That's for threatening my daughter," Diana said, shaking out her hand. As the police cars pulled up, lights flashing, Tommy ran to Lily, who had disobeyed orders and followed the adults. They hugged each other tightly. "It's over," Tommy whispered. "Really over." 6 months later, the courtroom erupted in applause as the judge announced the verdict: Victoria Reynolds, guilty on all counts: murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, fraud, and embezzlement. Her sentence: life without parole. In the gallery, Tommy sat between Diana and Lily, holding both their hands. Beside them was Rachel, now officially Tommy's legal guardian until he turned 18, as specified in a newly discovered codicil to James Reynolds' will. As for Mr. Goldstein, he was found alive, imprisoned in a remote cabin owned by Victoria's family, having refused to falsify documents despite torture and threats. His reunion with Rachel had brought many to tears, including the hardened reporters covering the case. "What happens now?" Lily asked as they left the courthouse, blinking in the bright spring sunlight. "Now," Tommy grinned, "we live happily ever after." Diana laughed, wrapping an arm around each child. "That sounds too easy." "Not easy," Tommy corrected, "but together. I'm using part of my trust fund to pay for your medical treatments, Diana. The best doctors, whatever you need. And I'm opening a new bakery," Rachel added. "Sweet Justice 2, 0, with an attached law office for pro bono work. And we'll never sell flowers in the rain again," Lily declared. "Unless we want to," Tommy added with a wink. "You never know who you might meet under a picnic table." As they walked toward their future, Frank and Sarah Chen watched from the courthouse steps. "Some story," Frank remarked. "The best kind," Sarah agreed. "One with a happy ending." And it was. Diana's health improved with proper treatment. Lily excelled in school, with the security of knowing her mother was well. Tommy grew up understanding that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars, but in love. Rachel honored her father's legacy by helping others fight injustice. Even Victoria, in her prison cell, eventually found a kind of peace in admitting her crimes, though she'd need several lifetimes to atone for them. As for the gold watch Tommy had offered Lily that rainy day in the park, it sat in a special place in their home, a reminder that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with the simplest act of kindness.